Sonic, the heart of your system.
What's up guys, welcome back to another GGF video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the BenQ EX3501R monitor. Now this isn't just a gaming monitor, it can be used for multimedia use. We touch on that in this video. Now as for the terms of the monitor, it is a 35-inch ultra-wide curved monitor, as you can see. It's got the standard curvature, we'll cover that later on. Now I do think it is quite stylish. It's got the silver on the back, black on the front, and then it's got sort of this chrome-like plastic feet. So let's jump in and check it out.
The EX3501R is a clean, elegant looking monitor which is made of silver and chrome plastic. You won't find any fancy RGB lighting effects on this one. The stand is kept to a minimal design with the BenQ logo printed at the top. I do appreciate how the monitor comes packaged fully assembled. This makes it very easy when setting up your monitor. The stand is actually very low profile for such a large monitor. Take note of this if you have limited desk space, as this monitor may free up some room. I also appreciate the simple cable hole in the stand for routing your cables. It's simple and it just works. Stand functionality is limited. They do have height adjustment up to around 60mm, but I would have liked this to have gone slightly higher. For me, I find it just doesn't go as high as I'm used to. The screen can also be tilted back and forwards, which is basically a standard these days, but unfortunately there is no rotating support or swiveling at the base. Rotation on a screen this size isn't really a big deal for me, but I do like my swivel, as having to move the whole monitor from the base can be annoying if being done regularly. Plenty of ports can be found on the EX3501R, including 2 HDMI 2.0, DisplayPort 1.4, which is what you'll need for the full res and refresh rate, 2 USB 3.0 Type A, and a Type C port. Having the Type C port is a nice touch and can carry the full resolution of the monitor, but trying this on my gaming laptop, I was only able to run the screen at a max refresh rate of 60Hz, just something to keep in mind. The screen also features a light sensor, smack bam in the center of the screen. This detects light and will adjust the brightness of the screen to reduce eye strain. This feature can also be turned off. The monitor offers 35 inches of viewing goodness with a resolution of 3440 by 1440, with of course an aspect ratio of 21:9. The curvature of the screen comes in at 1800R, which is about standard. The panel used is a VA panel, and BenQ is aiming the screen at video enthusiasts, not just gamers. There's a 2500:1 contrast ratio thanks to that VA panel, as you'll get much darker blacks thanks to that. The monitor also features HDR, but due to the slightly lower 300 nits of brightness, it's hard to get that full HDR experience. The differences between HDR on and off are minimal. As you can see in this example, switching from HDR to HDR off shows minimal difference. AMD FreeSync is also featured in this monitor, and I also tested this screen with the new Nvidia update that should allow G-Sync to work on this screen. This feature has just been released and it should get better over time. Although this screen is not on the official supported list, I gave it a shot anyway. After installing the driver and enabling G-Sync, I tested a few games to see how it went. Overall, I was impressed and didn't notice any issues with this new driver feature. This is definitely a little bonus for users interested in this monitor, as I feel most people will be running on an Nvidia GPU. The panel also runs up to 100Hz for those gaming enthusiasts, with a panel response time of 4 milliseconds grey to grey. I'll touch on the 100Hz stability a little later on. I also found color accuracy was good, covering 100% of the sRGB and 83% of the Adobe RGB color gamut, making this a well all-round monitor. Viewing angles weren't too bad and was acceptable for a VA panel. You can see the loss of color accuracy from the different angles. Backlight bleeding is kept to a minimum, which is normally a strong point for VA panels. You can see at the 3 brightness levels, backlight bleed is kept to a minimum.
Now that's most of the monitor covered there. I just want to cover a few little things I picked up along the way. Now earlier in the video I said that with the USB Type C port on the monitor, I was only able to get this 60Hz running off that port, but I did notice in the menu there is a switch to run it to. You can either have 60Hz at USB 3.1 or you can have 100Hz, but then it downgrades the USB to 2.0. So definitely it's got sort of a bit of a bandwidth sharing there, so just keep in note with that. Also a very interesting fact I found with the running the screen at 100Hz and frame skipping. Now I initially tested the screen on an AMD video card, a Vega 56, which you would as the monitor supports FreeSync. I was able to hit the 100Hz hertz, no worries at all, no frame skipping as well. I tested this with the frame skipping test. I did it in video and also with still images. You set your shutter speed to a specific speed and then you just take random photos, and if all the dots sort of line up, you know it's good. If you've got sort of jumps all over the place, you know there are frame skipping. Now I did verify this with another YouTube review where he had the same problem. On an NVIDIA GPU, this is where you will encounter frame skipping. I'm not sure if it's a series of sort of revisions or versions of this monitor, but he had the same issue as well. I wasn't able to get a steady 100 Hz on this monitor on NVIDIA without frame skipping. I used a 2080 Ti, but I did sort of overcome this by setting the monitor to a 96 Hz profile. So I created a custom profile, same full res, but just put the Hertz down to 4 to 96, ran the test again, and there was no frame skipping at all. The only thing that was different with the other person on YouTube, he didn't have an AMD video card, so he was only able to test on an NVIDIA card, so he wasn't quite sure if it was his monitor or his system. But I was able to confirm that AMD works fine, but with an NVIDIA card, you will have some frame skipping at the full hertz. Whether or not you'll notice it, that really is up to you. Now, color uniformity on the monitor is pretty good. The right side, sort of up the top of the right, is a little bit darker, and on the bottom left is a little bit lighter. Going through the 3 brightness modes you can see, but it's not really too much of an issue, especially when you do have colors and moving images on the screen. Now, price-wise, you're looking at 1,099 Australian dollars or 665 US dollars. Now, my sort of main issue with this monitor, I guess apart from the sort of NVIDIA issue running at 96, that could probably be fixed up, I'm not sure, at a driver level or something, or just a revision issue. It's just strange that 2 people have encountered this problem now. My main issue is the screen just does not go high enough. I'm not sure if that's just something I'm used to, but every other screen I've tested or have currently down here goes just a little bit high, and to me that just makes all the difference. Now this is at full height here. It's just like you don't want to be putting phone books under the monitor or something like that. And another thing is the screen doesn't have any VESA mounting, so you can't sort of add a monitor arm to rectify the issue of it going not high enough. Anyway, that's it on this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I want to thank you for watching. Thanks for BenQ for sending this out to check out, and stay tuned for the next video.